Dr. Zilrath had been studying human linguistic patterns for 3 standard cycles, and she was certain she'd finally cracked their communication systems. The bipedal species from Sol 3 had been granted provisional membership in the Galactic Congregation 6 months prior, and understanding their language was crucial for diplomatic relations. She'd documented thousands of phrases, idioms, and cultural references. Most were straightforward, once properly contextualized. Break a leg meant good luck in performance contexts. Raining cats and dogs described heavy precipitation. Piece of cake indicated simplicity. But one phrase kept appearing in their historical records with alarming frequency, always preceding events that defied probability, logic, and sometimes physics itself. Hold my beer. Zilrath's research team had cataloged 1,847 documented instances across human history. Each time, the phrase preceded what humans casually called stupid decisions, but what any rational species would classify as civilization-ending risk scenarios. The translation was literal enough a request for someone to temporarily possess one's fermented beverage, but the context made no sense. In 1903, 2 humans named Wright said it before strapping themselves to a wooden frame with an engine and launching themselves off a cliff. They invented flight. In 1969, 3 humans said it before climbing into an explosive propelled metal can and riding it to their moon. They succeeded. In 2047, a human engineer said it before dirigging a broken fusion reactor during a deep space mission, using, according to records, duct tape and spite. She saved 400 lives. Every instance followed the same pattern. Insurmountable problem. Insufficient resources. Expert consensus that success was impossible. And then a human uttering those 3 words before attempting something that should have resulted in catastrophic failure. The success rate was 68%. That was the number that terrified Zil. Not that 32% failed. That was expected, rational, sensible. But that 68% succeeded despite every mathematical model, every physical law, every logical prediction indicating they shouldn't. She presented her findings to the congregation. S3 Assessment Committee on a cold morning in the galactic capital. This phrase, she explained, her tentacles trembling slightly as she highlighted the data, appears to trigger a psychological state in humans where risk assessment protocols are voluntarily disabled. They are aware of the danger. They understand the probability of failure, and they proceed anyway. Committee Chairman Vortek leaned forward, his compound eyes reflecting the holographic data. You're describing suicidal behavior. Why is this a security concern? Zilrath pulled up a recent incident. 2 weeks ago, the human vessel Determination encountered a void kraken in uncharted space. Protocol dictates immediate retreat. Void krakens are Class 12 extinction-level entities. The human captain's exact words, translated, were, "Hold my beer. I want to try something." She played the footage. The human ship, laughably small compared to the cosmic horror before it, began broadcasting what they called death metal music at maximum volume, while performing evasive maneuvers that should have torn the vessel apart. The Kraken, never having encountered beings that responded to existential threats with aggressive noise and apparent joy, fled in confusion. The committee sat in stunned silence. They turned a predator that has consumed 17 civilizations into a retreating entity, Zilrath continued, using auditory assault and what their pilot called sick barrel rolls. When questioned, the captain said it seemed like it would be funny. Vortek's translator struggled to process his next words. Funny. They have a phrase, Zilrath said quietly. Hold my beer and watch this. It's not just a statement of intent. It's a challenge to reality itself. They know something is impossible, inadvisable, or insane, and that knowledge makes them want to do it more. She pulled up her final slide, a graph showing human technological advancement compared to other species, where most civilizations showed steady, logical progression. Humanity's line looked like seismic activity, with sudden vertical spikes corresponding to moments of spectacular risk. Every major human achievement, she said. Every breakthrough. Every impossible victory, they all started with someone saying, "Hold my beer." The committee voted unanimously to raise humanity's threat classification to Tier 1. Unpredictable reality not because humans were aggressive or militaristic, not because they possessed superior technology or physical capabilities, but because they had weaponized stupidity itself. turning impossible odds into a personal challenge in approaching the universe's dangers, with a disturbing combination of ingenuity and reckless optimism. 3 days after the classification change, humanity's representative to the congregation was summoned for an emergency session. Ambassador Maria Santos arrived confused, carrying her tablet and a coffee. Ambassador Votek began carefully. The congregation has a request. We're facing a classic stellar anomaly in the Kepler sector. Our best scientific minds say it's impossible to resolve without evacuating 12 populated systems. Maria listened to the technical briefing, her expression thoughtful. When they finished, she set down her coffee, and every alien in the room tensed. "Hold my coffee," she said with a slight smile. "I want to make some calls." The congregation didn't know whether to feel relieved or terrified. Probably both. Humanity, it seemed, was exactly the kind of crazy the universe needed.